This week on Business Mike, the business of safety. One of the leading causes of death in Uganda are motorbike, or as they're locally known, boda accidents. Less than 1% of the passengers on a motorbike taxi wears a helmet, and as a result, boda accidents make up 40% of the trauma cases in city hospitals. Here to improve the situation is SafeBoda. It's a Ugandan-based company in Kampala that provides its riders and their passengers with helmets. Joining me today are two of its co-founders, Alastair and Max. We'll chat about road safety in Kampala, as well as the unique ways in which SafeBoda is changing the face of the motorbike transport in Uganda. All this and more next on Business Mike.
You're listening to the Business Mike podcast. Amazing interviews with inspiring entrepreneurs. Subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher Radio for a brand new episode every Monday.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Business Mike. Joining me today is Alastair and Max from SafeBoda. Could you just tell us about who you are and what you do?
Thanks, Daddy, for inviting us on the show. So my name is Alastair, and I'm also a co-founder of SafeBoda. I've also been in the region, so I'm originally from Scotland, but I've been in the region for the last 5 years or even 6 years. I mean, I came to Rwanda in 2010 and worked there as an economic advisor with the government to 2013, and then I lived in Ethiopia for a bit in San Francisco, and then I got talking with Max about a cool idea he was starting with Ricky. And then I came on board to move full-time in Kampala in September 2014, which feels like a long time ago, but I guess it was only kind of a year and a bit ago. So yeah, and we're just excited to be on the show, and thanks for inviting us.
So my name is Max, and I'm originally from Belgium, and I've been living in the East African region for 4 years now. I was originally in Rwanda, working in agriculture with 1 Acre Fund, and now I've been living in Uganda full time for the last 7 months. And so together with Alastair and Ricky, we co-founded SafeBoda that we'll be talking about.
What exactly is SafeBoda and what compelled you to start this business?
SafeBoda is like a community of great drivers in Kampala. So boda drivers that we select and train, and who we give orange equipment, so an orange reflector and orange helmet, so you can easily recognize them in the city. And so our mission is really to make the boda industry safer and better organized. And like we started SafeBoda, I think it's quite obvious that there is a big problem, a big market failure in the boda industry today. Like 50% of the head injuries at Mulago Hospital are due to boda accidents, and everyone has friends that had like boda accidents, or even worse, sometimes lost a relative. And so we really thought there was something wrong, and there was an easy solution. Like why people don't wear helmets here. With the chance to be sometimes in Rwanda where like everyone are wearing helmets. That was really like this saying that there was something that could be done, and that we could really get drivers that people can trust, that gave us like the energy to start SafeBoda.
That's a very good point you mentioned, is the number of boda accidents we have here, or motorcycle accidents. But one of the reasons why that happens is many Ugandans don't like to put on helmets. Why do you think we have a culture here, despite seeing so many serious accidents, many of which result in death, people still don't want to wear helmets?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it's cultural in the sense that, people didn't wear seatbelts in cars, for example. People said, I'm not wearing a seatbelt. It's strange. Why would I wear a seatbelt? And then I think it was the Ford company in the United States, like really introduced seatbelts and safety. And then they had campaigns and they had to try to get people to adopt it. And then it kind of worked over time. I mean, the culture in Uganda is not alone to Uganda. So if you go to India, for example, helmet wearing is not common in India on motorcycles either. And so it's just a deeply cultural thing. And people don't always see the impact of of their actions, or shall we say, of them not wearing a helmet, how dangerous it is that you're not wearing a helmet. They don't go to Malago Hospital. They don't talk to doctors every day. Or like all of us as human beings, we say, yeah, but that's not going to happen to me. Like it's not going to happen to me because I'm different, or somehow it won't happen to me. So it's a great question. And I think Uganda is no different than anywhere else. It's a culture of not being that safety aware on motorcycles. It's just that in Kampala, Boda is a way of life. It's a way how we all get around. That's why the problem is so big, because there is estimated to be like over 1 million trips taken every day. So 1 million of those trips, let's say, apart from our SafeBoda trips, are the passenger is not wearing a helmet. And then the driver is probably wearing a helmet 30% of the time, maybe less. And it's not going to be strapped. The helmet isn't going to be strapped. So, yeah.
So who are the SafeBoda drivers, and how is it that you recruit them? Is there any special training that they get that's unique to any other Boda drivers out there?
Yeah, so SafeBoda drivers are like existing drivers. So we don't create new drivers. We recruit from existing driver. And I like to compare like SafeBoda drivers like the same as the drivers that you have in your phone. You probably have like 5 names of drivers in your phone that are people that you trust, that someone recommended you, and you usually use these drivers. And SafeBoda drivers are the same actually, except that we have hundreds of them. And so we select the drivers based on recommendations from our drivers, and we have like a recruiting team that is like selecting drivers on certain criteria. And then we interview these drivers, so they all have to come to our office, and then we spend time with them. We try to really understand, and we do a background check to make sure that we can trust these drivers. And then they receive, once they're selected, they receive trainings from SafeBoda and from the Red Cross. So we have a partnership with the Red Cross of Uganda. And so our drivers, once they join, they will get trainings from the Red Cross. And so the different modules include bike maintenance, customer service, respecting our code of conduct, and then the training from the Red Cross.
And how accessible are these drivers? For instance, if I want to use an ordinary Boda, I'll probably find one just across the road on the stage. How do I access these SafeBoda drivers? Do I make a phone call somewhere? Are there designated stages to find them? And also, what are their working hours? Is it that kind of thing whereby by 6 o'clock you can't access them, or how does it work? How do we access them?
Yeah, so great question. So you can take the SafeBoda at the stage. So the normal way of taking a Boda. So they're still there at their stages, right? But you can also get them via a mobile application for Android and for iOS. And basically with one click, once you enter the app, it will search around your location within 1.5 kilometers, those Bodas that are near you, and it will show you them. So say, SafeBoda John is there, and then you can click and call him. And calling is part of the culture here. People like to call. People wouldn't want to just put in maybe like a pin of where they are on the map and say, come pick me. Right now we think that's not really what people want in the market. So there's the app. And obviously the app accounts for probably 20-25% of people in Kampala, right? Most people have smartphones. But people also on those smartphones are using kind of Facebook and WhatsApp, but they're not using other apps. So that's something we're trying to work on. So the app is one way. And then the other way, we have a hotline, a toll-free, 0800 300 200. So on that number, you can call for free and say, hey, I'm at a Casho Mall, or I'm in CBD Metroplex. Sorry, CBD Maparisi Complex. Can I get a SafeBoda? And then our call center team will then connect you with a SafeBoda to come. So the idea is that we're trying to utilize our drivers more. So the drivers sit around for estimated like 60-70% of the time. They're just sitting around waiting for business. So SafeBoda has this platform of drivers that are more connected to customers. So they're the 3 main ways: at the stage, via the app, and the hotline. And we're experimenting even with WhatsApp. So we want to have a WhatsApp system where you can WhatsApp SafeBoda and say, hey, I'm in a meeting, so I can't talk, but I really like a SafeBoda to come to my office and pick me. So we try to find all the ways we can to really get the SafeBoda drivers to connect customers to the drivers.
The description you've just given sounds like Uber, but for motorcycles. So one would be tempted to think, well, with an app there and a phone call here, how much more expensive is SafeBoda versus an ordinary boda? So how do they differentiate in terms of the pricing and also the distance? Basically, what's the coverage of the SafeBodas and what's the difference in pricing?
Pricing is a great question, and currently, like, our SafeBoda should be the same price as your regular Boda. So it's part of our code of conduct and part of the culture of SafeBoda to ask drivers to charge the same amount. Now, the challenge in Kampala is that there is no fixed price. So it's always based on negotiation, and there is an open discrimination. I think if there is like an old lady coming from the market, or like a businessman with his like computer, like the Boda wouldn't charge the same price. And that's true with SafeBoda as well. Currently we haven't invested too much on like fixing the price. And part of the reason is that customer actually say that, negotiating is part of our culture and I'm good at negotiation, so I don't really want the price to be fixed. But it's like a major discussion we're having right now. It's like, should we have like a price algorithm in the app, and then fix the price for a customer? If we would do so, it would never be more expensive than the average. So with SafeBoda SafeBoda is accessible for everyone, and we believe that safety should be accessible for everyone. So we'll never be more expensive than the normal drivers. And then in terms of coverage, like we're growing fast right now. So we have around 250 drivers in Kampala, and mostly like in like central Kampala, north Kampala, and then Bugolobi, Muyenga, Kabalagala. But now we're adding like 100 drivers every month, and so coverage, you'll see more and more SafeBoda, and it'll be easier and easier to get them.
On my way to your offices, I definitely saw quite a number of SafeBoda drivers here and there. So they're becoming more and more popular. I would like to find out when you actually started the company and what sort of feedback you're getting from the people that are using SafeBoda. Basically, what kind of effect is it having on our culture for the riders who are now using SafeBodas and getting a different point of view from using safety on the motorcycles?
Yeah, I think what's most exciting is that drivers see a difference. To quote one driver, that he has a sticker on his Boda which says, "Notice the difference. Notice the difference." As in, I am different than a normal Boda. When I put on my orange jacket with my name on the back and I have two helmets, I am different. I am special. And that's really exciting because these guys, they feel different. And when you feel different, you start to act different. So, our drivers are safer than other drivers because we've put them through the training. But many drivers, if you feel different, you'll start acting differently. So that's very powerful. And so our drivers importantly see also the economic benefit. They make more money with SafeBoda. At the end of the day, that's what it matters for people who have kids and they want to send them to school and want to pay school fees in Uganda. They need more money. And so they make more money with us. And they feel secure working with us. They feel happy to work with a company to grow their business and to grow our business as well. We're in discussions with companies doing delivery. We're doing invoicing. We're doing invoicing for companies. We're experimenting with lots of different things in the business space as well. So the idea is to really utilize our network of drivers, that these guys will see the benefit. And I would say also that from their perception, they're viewed as human beings, not just, I take that Boda guy. No, his name's John, and he's SafeBoda John, and he's at that stage in Garden City. Okay, John, how's it going? Yeah, you see, and so it's putting a face on some. A lot of the culture here is we kind of turned our back on these young Boda men because we see them as reckless and dangerous. But these are the young men of Kampala. These are the future leaders. These are the future people, and so I think we're putting a face we're putting a face and a positive face on the Boda industry, which is a major employer of young men in Kampala because of the challenges of job creation in the city and in the country at large.
Right. Now, obviously, you've been running SafeBoda for quite a while. Are there any unique or remarkable stories, something cool perhaps or memorable that you've experienced on this journey?
Maybe we can both share one. I can think of like many like stories like from customers and like, you know, how they see the change, but I think it's mostly like seeing and kind of to I don't know, as I was saying before about like how like drivers, you know, are now perceived differently. Like SafeBoda was presented like over the summer to like a university fair where usually, I mean, Boda are like individual, like they're anonymous in the street, and there was the president that came to the university, and so SafeBoda and we had like SafeBoda drivers were like presenting SafeBoda to the president, which is quite interesting and funny, of course, for like a Boda company to get that to that level, and now it's just seeing like how people know about SafeBoda and how we're like building a reputation around it. So I think that was quite like more like a small story, but pretty funny that happened to SafeBoda.
I'm just trying to think. I mean, there's so many things have happened in this last year and a half. It's just been, I think it's been an amazing time for everyone involved in SafeBoda, and seeing the company grow from a couple of employees to now quite a few employees and just our reach. I think some of the stories of customers who had never used a Boda before, who'd always feared Boda, and now use SafeBoda, and talked about it on Facebook, for example, and said this story, you know, like spending, 20 minutes on, I mean, I know people like to chat on Facebook, but spending 20 minutes writing down a story on our posting on our wall saying, I took this driver, called Fred, and it was a great experience. And, I just never thought it was going to be, safe. And then I felt really safe with him. And, that's amazing. That's when you see, okay, something's happening here. Something's working. We still have lots of challenges as a company. We need to grow faster. We need to make sure the quality is always perfect. But I think those kind of stories have been so great to hear from customers saying, yeah, I never thought it would feel safe, but I felt safe with SafeBoda. So I think that would be it. Yeah.
Obviously, SafeBoda is a unique concept, but where else do you guys think a concept like SafeBoda would apply, and what are your long-term plans for SafeBoda? Yeah,
so like there are more than 80 million motorcycle taxi in the world, and so yeah, I mean it's what happened in Kampala is not unique to here. Like we see that the same in Kenya, we see the same in Tanzania, we see the same in West Africa, we see the same in Asia. So this year we're really like proving that we can change these markets, and then we want to quickly grow in East Africa and then in the rest of the African continent, and so our solution can be replicable in many different markets. So that's pretty exciting to be building something that we believe can be huge.
All right, gentlemen, this is the last question of the day. If you were stranded on a desert island, what book would you take with you? What movie would you take with you? And what song would you take with you? I don't know who wants to go first.
We need like 5 minutes to think about this answer. I mean, the problem is, I don't like to watch the same movie too many times over again. I don't like the same book and song. So maybe song, I don't mind. Yeah, maybe Matt should go because I'm struggling here.
Great. So I really like the movie A Beautiful Mind, and I find it like very inspiring, and I've watched it like a few times, so I wouldn't mind watching it like a few other times. And then the book, it's a French book, but in English it would be translated to like 80 People to Change the World, and which was a book that has really like inspired me like through my life, and really I see like how like people can just with an idea can really make a difference. So the song I would take a song from MGMT, which is called Kids, and just reminds me a lot of good memories, and just has a great beat. I think I will go with this combo.
Yeah, I'm still struggling actually to think about this. I mean, I think for a movie, I would go for like a TV series if that was allowed. And I think Sopranos, which is about the gangster in New Jersey, Tony Soprano. That's probably like one of my favorite series, and just the production and how it's made, and it's very long. So I could really, it's cheating a lot because it's probably about 40 episodes or 50 episodes or whatever. And then for book, a really inspirational book that I read recently was Let My People Go Surfing by Yvonne Cunard, who founded Patagonia, and that was just a really cool book. And it's kind of a business book, but it's also like a personal book about kind of personal development and how you think about the world and stuff. And I think you could read that book over and over again in select chapters on the desert island. And then a song, I could dance to the MGMT Max's song. Yeah, there's a number of songs on my Spotify I listen to over and over again. So there's a lot of kind of dance music. So I'd pick one of them, but I don't know which one I'd pick. That's my problem. But yeah, that's my kind of convoluted answer to that question.
Right. So how can people get in touch with you and SafeBoda for more details about how to get involved and participate?
Yeah, please get in touch with us. You can find us on Facebook. So you just type SafeBoda, and please share your experience. Just take a picture of you on a SafeBoda and show the example of putting on the helmet. Twitter as well. Type SafeBoda. And then you can always call us 0800 300 200, which is a toll-free number. You can call to book a SafeBoda, to share an experience you had, or ask any question if you are interested in SafeBoda and want to visit our office. You're welcome. We'll offer you lunch and chat with you. So you're more than welcome.
Well, thank you so much for your time, gentlemen, and I wish you the very best with SafeBoda. Thanks for listening to the Business Mike podcast. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you'd like to listen to more episodes just like this one, simply go to businessmike.com. I would love to hear from you. So if you've got any questions or feedback, you can reach me on Twitter at Daudi Mugabi, on Facebook at Business Mike, or email. That's daudi@businessmike.com. Don't forget, we have a brand new episode every Monday. And until then, take care.